Dissatisfaction with Brexit, the election of Trump, and inaction on climate change has led some academics and activist groups to consider replacing our democracy with another form of government, such as epistocracy, for example. With the current lockdown and social distancing restrictions enacted on the advice of medical experts, we are getting a taste of what it would be like to live in a Scientocracy. Government by scientists or in the name of science is a form of authoritarianism. The government cannot be questioned, criticised or opposed because its policies are based on objective truth. The government knows what's best for the individual and for society, and so we see the encroachment of Big Brother and the nanny state. Voicing a contrary opinion is a threat to the common good, for individuals cannot be trusted to assess claims and determine the truth on their own. Mindless obedience becomes the order of the day. The system has several flaws, of course. Scientists, even experts in the same field, don't always agree, and even when there is a consensus among them, they are sometimes wrong. There can be even greater disagreement among experts from different disciplines. A scientific expert can be considered an authority only in his field of specialisation. A doctor of medicine cannot give sound economic advice any more than an economist can give sound medical advice. This can be a problem when making complex decisions that have ramifications across multiple sectors of society. Scientocracy is not founded on science, but scientism, the belief that science will solve all of humanity's problems. Scientism fails to recognise the fact-value distinction and seeks to derive an ought from an is. Even if it is true that shutting down the economy and imposing social distancing measures will lower the transmission rate of COVID-19, it does not necessarily follow that this is what ought to be done. Science is supposed to be about reducing uncertainty, yet in the face of uncertainty we are often forced to make decisions based on rules of thumb or subjective preferences. The lockdown and social distancing proponent will claim that these measures are necessary to save lives, yet why such extreme measures are justified to save lives from COVID-19 but not, for example, tuberculosis or malaria is never explained, and it cannot be because ultimately it is arbitrary and subjective. In the meantime, I will not surrender my critical faculties and continue to be of the opinion that the overreaction to the coronavirus pandemic is driven by mass hysteria and moral panic. I think that the short-sighted decisions being made now will perpetuate the next big crisis, economic depression. The short-sighted response to that will perpetuate the next big crisis, perhaps famine or hyperinflation or war with some country. And so the public will be kept in a perpetual state of fear, always looking to their expert overlords for salvation, willingly surrendering more freedoms for the illusion of safety, entrusting more power to the government each time it fails them. But if our scientocratic government is always objectively correct, then it can never accept blame for its failures. The successful implementation of its policies must have been sabotaged by certain individuals or groups, and these groups or people will be scapegoated and persecuted, and we will see the rise of tyranny. Democracy has its faults, but I see no reason to believe that scientists and other experts are inherently more virtuous or trustworthy than the average voter. If we give up our democracy, we give up the mechanism by which a corrupt, incompetent and overbearing government can be peaceably removed from power. I would like to leave you with two quotes. The first from French philosopher Albert Camus, who said, "The welfare of humanity is always the alibi of tyrants." And the second quote by C.S. Lewis expresses a similar sentiment. He wrote, "Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience." If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll be bringing you another video soon.